What is up and welcome back to the channel. Today we finally have the highly requested performance review of the GK Kobe 6 Protro in the Mambacita colorway. So if you haven't already watched my initial unboxing and first impressions video, I would say watch that first so you get an idea of my order experience, my thoughts on the quality of the shoe, also my thoughts on reps in general. So that's a good video to watch before actually watching this performance review. Also, since I last uploaded that video, Nike has announced that they're going to be relaunching the Kobe brand on Mamba Day, which is on August 24th, starting with the Kobe 8 in the triple white colorway. So hopefully those of us who want to cop a pair are able to do so. I know kind of the Kobes that have come out recently have been really hard to get, including these Mambacita Kobe Protro 6s, as well as the Kobe 4 Mambacitas. Both have been really exclusive and hard to get. I took L's on both. I'm sure most of you did too if you tried. And as far as the first Kobe 6 shoe that's going to be coming out, it's going to be the reverse Grinch colorway, which is coming out in December. So I'm very excited for those. Definitely going to try to cop those myself, but we'll see. And as of right now, it's still really hard to get authentic Kobe 6 Protros for a decent price, unless you're willing to pay $500, $600, $700, $800 on the resale market on GOAT or StockX, depending on your size and colorway, which I was not down to do. And that's why I landed on looking at the rep market. I tried last year with not very good luck. I didn't do enough research, but now I landed on the GK Kobe 6 Protros, which many have said are the closest one-to-one to retail. So I trusted the internet's opinion and went ahead and bought myself a pair. These retailed for around $135. I found a $10 off discount code online, applied that. After taxes and shipping and all that, it turned out to be around $160, which by no means is cheap at all, because I mean, you can get the latest KDs for $150. So definitely you have to keep that in mind. Even though they're replica sneakers, they're not cheap, but if they can perform as good as the real thing, then they might be worth it. And for those who are wondering, I know Kick-Hu recently came out with a 2.0 model. These are not the 2.0s, these are the 1.0s. So that's what my review is going to be on. As far as the updates on their 2.0s, from my understanding, it's an updated Zoom turbo bag in the forefoot, as well as some other things that make it closer to retail, even though these are supposed to be really close to retail. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell the differences between the 1.0 and 2.0, but for now, these are the 1.0s. So if you didn't already know, the Kobe 6 is my favorite shoe of all time. I've only had one real pair, which I wore in high school, and I wore those to the ground, and I love those shoes. I can't wear them anymore because the traction is gone, but that is kind of the performance that I've been chasing since I've been playing volleyball and basketball. And the closest thing that's gotten to it is the Nike Hyper Attack, which was very similarly modeled to the Kobe 6, but that had herringbone for traction, but still a great performer. But those are kind of not being sold anymore either, so those are also hard to get. So all my play time in these shoes, which has been over 20 hours, has been all volleyball, playing setter, libero, back row for 9-man, as well as outside hitter in my league. And I'm very familiar with how these play on the court, so you're probably here for me to answer the question, are these good performers? But before I answer that question, I am not recommending anybody to play in replica sneakers. This review is purely for science. Now that that's out of the way, I wanted to start with the break-in period of the shoe. These shoes definitely require some break-in, so don't expect these shoes to feel amazing during your first wear. They do require some break-in time. The upper, not too much, but the traction especially, and the cushioning both require some break-in period. So as far as the traction pattern, we do have, of course, your scale-like or honeycomb-like traction pattern, which is multi-directional and will have you covered in all directions. But they do start out a little bit sharp. So there were a couple of times when I was playing back row where I straight up just slid across a very clean court, and that's because the traction has not fully broken in. And I had the same exact experience in my OG pair back in high school in a gym that has this weird rubber court, so the traction there is very good, and I still skid across the floor, which is kind of a scary experience. So I know a lot of people will break in their shoes, traction at least, by wearing them outside a few times. I don't like to do that, but if that's something you're into, then you might want to do that with these. But after they break in, the traction is very good. Not as good as the traction on the WOW 10 or the LeBron 20s. I think those still have better traction than these, but these are still very solid performers traction-wise. As far as picking up dust, these do pick up dust moderately, so you definitely need to keep up your wipes when you're playing, whether that's on clean courts, dusty courts, sport court. You definitely are going to have to wipe your shoes because they do pick up dust. And if you're wondering if the traction squeaks, these do squeak for me. Not the same case for my other Grinch colorway, but these definitely squeak. Maybe that's because they're solid rubber or a different rubber compound, but if you like squeaky shoes, then these definitely do squeak. And then the second part of the braking experience is the cushioning. So this does have a Zoom turbo unit in the forefoot. And it's not that bouncy during your first few wears. And I think that's because the midsole foam hasn't fully broken in yet. But once it does, this Zoom unit in the forefoot is pretty bouncy and is like the perfect combination of court feel and responsiveness, as well as impact protection and bounciness. So it's definitely like that sweet spot of not sacrificing too much court feel, but also providing enough impact protection and bounce, which I love. So these feel really good. And somebody asked me, do you feel the Zoom more on the LeBron 20s or on these pair of shoes? And I would say these feel a little bit better than the LeBron 20s. So take that with a grain of salt, but for me, I like these a little bit better. As far as the heel cushioning, there is no Zoom bag in the heel because these are true to the Protro design, but it does provide good impact protection, not too mushy, not too firm. So I am very happy with the performance of the heel cushioning on this shoe. The heel to toe transition is butter, very smooth on courts. So I'm very happy with that as well. You don't really feel the carbon fiber plate as far as like springiness, impact protection, or cushioning, but it does provide really good torsional rigidity to the midfoot of the shoe. So it is doing that really well. But I would say I feel the carbon fiber plate a little bit more on a shoe like the WOW 10. Onto the fit and the upper of the shoes. Of course, we have the iconic scales, which the Kobe 6 is known for. And these scales do provide a lot of durability. So any abrasions that you have when you're playing, if you're diving or in weird positions, the scales actually help protect the upper really well. And that was the case for me as well. So not too much wear and tear actually. Even playing tournaments and a lot of volleyball in them, they're still looking pretty good. There is one thing that I noticed as far as durability on the upper, and that is the paint on the white swoosh. So I did experience cracking on the swoosh on both the lateral and on the medial sides of the shoes, and that goes for both sneakers. So I think you might expect that. I don't know if retail does that or not, but that is one thing that I did want to point out with my current pair. I personally don't care too much as long as they perform, and so far they have been. And also happy to report, as far as the upper, there is no glue separation from the upper to the midsole or the midsole to the outsole. So all good there as far as glue separation, but I'm very happy with the durability of the upper and the whole shoe itself, at least so far. So onto the tongue of the Kobe 6. I personally like lacing my shoes really tight, so starting from the forefoot to the midfoot to the ankle, I crank down pretty hard. And of course, the Kobe 6 has the torch tongue system, which has honeycombs here for extra padding and ventilation, half booty construction so the tongue isn't moving around while you're playing, and the tongue itself also has some padding. So tongue felt amazing. And of course, we have the heel counter on the back of the shoe with the Mambacita logo and the 2 on the side. This does a great job of keeping your heel contained, as well as the shaping here really helps my foot stay in the shoe. So no heel slip issues. And to be honest, I think the Kobe 6 has the best fit of any shoe that I've ever worn, and this shoe did just that for me. So I love the fit on this shoe. It really felt like a glove all around, very comfortable, no blisters at all, no pinching. But the Kobe 6, in my opinion, is the best fitting shoe of all time. So that pretty much covers the whole sneaker. If you can't already tell, I am very happy with the performance of this sneaker. If anything, it met or exceeded my expectations, and they're definitely better performing than the rep pair I got last year. So thank goodness that is the case. To be honest, this has been my favorite performing shoe of the year so far. So I would pick them over the WOW 10s as well as the LeBron 20s. They are an all-around package. So awesome fit, awesome traction, awesome cushioning, and there's not a lot to hate about this shoe. Aesthetically, this is such a beautiful shoe. There are a lot of different colorways that you can rock, and there's a reason why it's my favorite shoe, and there's also a reason why a lot of players in the NBA wear this shoe. It's because it's just a great performer. And that's what kind of makes it kind of murky for me as far as, reviewing a rep sneaker, because on one hand, I'm like, man, I hope this performs really well, because then I can get a shoe that I want to play in for a relatively affordable price. And on the other hand, I'm like, dang, if rep shoes are just as good as retail, then like, is it even worth getting retail, especially if I have to pay resale? And like, let's say I wanted to eventually get an authentic pair to compare if these are as good as retail. How do I even know if I'm getting a real pair from like GOAT, StockX, eBay, or like someone else on Facebook or what have you? So it's kind of scary. In general, I'm still team, like, if you want to wear them for performance and you get the performance, then that's a great thing. But if you want to buy them and you are expecting an authentic pair and you might not get an authentic pair and it's really hard to tell, then that might not be a great thing. So my word of advice is definitely do your research and due diligence and just stay safe out there, because you never really know. For me in this situation, I'm okay with it because I bought them knowing that they are reps, but you know, to each is their own. That's gonna do it for this video. I was very skeptical at first, so I definitely made sure to get a lot of play time in these shoes just so I could like thoroughly test them. But as you can tell, I'm very excited. I'm definitely gonna have these in the rotation when I'm not testing other shoes, but let me know if you have any questions. If you've been enjoying the content lately, don't forget to subscribe. I might end up cutting my other pair that I got last year, those Grinches, in half just to see, is there really zoom in there? Because based on my experience with those and my experience with the GK batch, not all reps are created equal. There are some high quality ones and some lower quality ones. So for me, it would be very interesting to see if I ended up cutting that open. So subscribe if you don't want to miss that video if I end up doing it, and like the video if this was helpful for you. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.